Hello, my people. Good day to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for joining me on today's episode of Daily Mind Shift. My name is Michael Ujola from Mindset Transformation Africa. And on today's episode of Daily Mind Shift, I want to share a real wisdom with us, especially for you, for me, for anyone that listens to this, or for your friends that you will share it with. This is real wisdom. Saying enough to prove your point and not your existence. Let me repeat that. This is real wisdom. Saying enough to prove your point, not your existence. Wisdom is saying enough to prove your point, not your existence. If you are a speaker like me, if you talk, you like talking. And by the way, when people say I like talking, most of my talk are serious stuff. I don't like just talking for talking's sake. I'm not a gossip. I don't do that. Whenever I talk, that people say, Mike, you talk is about real serious stuff. When we're having discussions, maybe sometimes politics, sometimes life things, sometimes you ask me for my opinion, or maybe I'm speaking somewhere. You have to give me time because I have a lot of things to say. So that's by the way. Nevertheless, this particular thing about saying enough to prove your point has been a hallmark of mine for a long time. If anybody will have anything to say against me, especially if we are in any form of relationship, friendship, romantic partner, and all that, it's about I don't talk much. I don't talk much. I do what I want to do. I move. I don't talk much. All right. When you want to communicate with me, you have to bring your point to the table. You have to be able to articulate your point and not be. I'm not sentimental. I'm not highly emotional. I'm very cerebral. So when you want us to talk and communicate, you can't just bring sentiment. You have to bring some hard facts so that we deliberate about it. And you must be ready to go back and forth. If you're not someone that is ready to go back and forth, you will think you are compromising more, because I will stick to my gun. I will stick to what I believe in. I will pursue it to the logical conclusion. So if you're not ready for that, I will be guilty of lack of communication, because the moment we start deliberating on the subject, I will prove my point. I will keep pushing my point. So that's that about that. So nevertheless, I also discovered that real wisdom is when you know how to use silence. When you know how to use silence, you must know how to use silence. Some of you need to just shut up. All right, just shut up. Shut up right now. Just shut up. You talk too much. Some of you need to know that because you're the most chatty person in the room, doesn't mean that you are the most influential, doesn't mean that you have the most points to throw across the table. And it doesn't mean you're wise, all right? It doesn't mean you know stuff. In our town here, we say, and I think it's an old adage that is maybe peculiar to Africans, that empty barrel make the loudest of all noise. So you personally need to question yourself, that am I just making noise, or am I making sense? You need to question that. Are you making noise, or are you making sense? Because this is real wisdom. Saying enough to prove your point. Prove your point and shut up. The moment you know you've communicated your point, shut up. But most of us don't know how to shut up. You know why? Because our self-esteem is tied to what we are discussing. Our self-esteem is attached to the subject of discussion. We are trying to prove that we exist. That's why we keep talking, we keep talking, we keep talking, we keep talking. And then you've lost half of the room, if not all of the room. They are no more listening to you. They are no more listening to the words you are saying. They are just hearing noises. Do not keep speaking to prove that you exist. If you have enough self-worth, if you have enough confidence in yourself, enough ability to communicate, you are self-assured. You don't need to keep talking. Many of us keep talking because we want to prove that we exist. It's not the point. It's the existence that we are trying to prove. If you don't know that you are enough, you will always be guilty of talking too much. Let me share again the real wisdom with you. Saying enough to prove your point, not your existence. That is wisdom. That is wisdom. When you know that, okay, what is the point you're trying to prove? You're trying to tell someone that I don't appreciate the way you talk to me. You don't need to refer to what they did 75 years. Start giving points, start giving examples rather. You don't need to start trying to recollect examples of what they did when you're on holiday here, what they did when. No, just say it straight. Bro, sis, I don't like the way you talk to me just now, and I will appreciate if you don't do that anymore. If you continue to do that, there are consequences, and one of the consequences, we will not talk again. Simple. You've said your point, you're done. You're done. The moment that person violates the rule again, you execute the warning. You don't just threaten because you're threatening for threatening's sake. No, you execute it. You cut off relationship with that person. You stop talking to them, simple, because they don't respect you like that. Do you understand? But if you keep talking, that means you really don't want to break off that relationship. If you keep saying, the reason why you did it the last time, you talked to me anyhow, the 2 days ago, you talked to me anyhow, you are just trying to prove your existence. You are not trying to be self-assured and self-secure in your position. You're trying to convince that person that they should please stop talking to you anyhow. You are indirectly begging. That is you trying to prove you exist. You don't need to prove that you exist. You don't need, if you really know that you exist, you don't need to prove you exist. So, you need to know that sometimes the absence of words can be the key to more effective communication. I said it earlier. You need to know when to use silence. I'm not talking about malice, that's weak. I'm talking about silence. It's not about keeping malice. Now, it's not about not talking to people. See, I'm all for that too. If you don't want to talk to someone, don't at all. Like, let them know that you're done communicating with them on any level because you're done. All right, that's that. All right, it's done. It's you don't need to keep someone in your heart. If I'm telling you that I'm done communicating with you, that doesn't mean you are in my heart. I'm not even feeling you. You've become a non-entity. You're done. I'm done with you. It's done. So our relationship is over. We've graduated from being in a relationship. It's okay. I wish you well. You wish me well. Let's move on. All right. But I'm talking about strategic silence. Sometimes the absence of words can be the key to more effective communication. You need to understand that. All right. This is what I need you to take into account. I need you to ask yourself, do I take into account the value of time and productivity in my conversations? Can I make my point effectively? Like the example I gave, can I just go straight to the point? Laser focus, laser-like communication, hit the target and stop talking. Do you understand? Less verbal statements, all right? Go say what you want to say and get it done with. That's exactly what I want you to think about. Fewer words, more dialogue, better understanding and less drama are just one of the few benefits of staying out of this over-talking zone. Do you understand? Let me reiterate what I said before. This is real wisdom. Saying enough to prove your point and not your existence. Thank you for getting value from today. Thank you for your attention, not taken for granted, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.